the deleted scene, like Matt Reeves, he talked about Joker was in the movie. I had to get the light on, got to put the vengeance lighting on. Okay, Matt Reeves, he talked.
Vengeance.
So he talked about that Joker was in the movie Barry Keoghan. You see him at the tail end of the Batman movie, and then after the movie, in an interview, Matt Reeves also mentioned that there was a deleted scene with the Joker character played by Barry
Hmm.
Keoghan, and that there was kind of like a Silence of the Lambs esque moment there that got cut from the
Yes.
movie, and it.
Yeah, it's a Silence of the Lambs or a Hannibal Lecter type scene. And it was actually an Easter egg that you could unlock if you went to that website, www.rataalada.com, and you got a series of 3 riddles. And if you answered them correctly, then you got to see the deleted scene early.
Nice. Did you unlock it?
No, I did not.
Oh, you didn't do the riddles.
I am no, I am dumb.
Dusk, did you do the riddles? Did you try to do the riddles?
I got 2 of them.
Yeah. What were the two riddles?
The 2 riddles were fuck. Dang it.
Oh
Put me on
fuck!
the
I can't
spot.
remember
Damn.
what they were.
I'm
Hold
gonna
up.
be honest. I can't remember. I was just in the zone, and I just fit, did 2 of them. It took me a while, and then I couldn't get the thing released before I even finished the third.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it took a minute. It took me so long that by the time I figured out what the riddles were, they already released the scene online.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, yeah, it's like to wit, wild card in the truest sense. Joker, one step close. Uh, it's not a joke, but sometimes you need it to shout it twice to really mean it. It's ha.
okay. So in this deleted scene, you have it here. And first of all, I mean, a lot of people talking about the look of the Joker. You know how he looks is vastly different from the way we've seen him before. He definitely went to the barber and said, "Fuck my shit up." The Joker did. This is wow. I mean, at that point, you gotta go bald, dude. I mean, at that point,
It's like he got a haircut from a dude that was having a seizure.
yeah, yeah. You just gotta, you know what? Just go bald and grow a beard, goatee. That's what most bald dudes do. Salvage it somehow. So I'll ask you guys first. So what do you think of the look of the Joker?
Me, I think it's a very different look of the Joker. We've gotten stuff like the Cesar Romero where it's just a guy in white makeup. We get the Heath Ledger where it is the guy who is realistically who just scarred himself on his face with a smile, and we got whatever the fuck Jared Leto was doing. Here, I think in the vein that Matt Reeves is going for, with trying to ground this world into this kind of heightened reality of having this guy who did fall in the acid and was disfigured and driven insane by it. I like the look. I think it's very different for what we think of Joker. I see a lot of influence from Lee Bermejo's Joker, his artwork for that, which came out like sometime before The Dark Knight.
Okay. What was the artist name you said? I can pull up. Try to
Lee Bermejo. It's
Okay.
Bermejo.
Okay.
Which that artist he heavily inspired Ledger's look for The Dark Knight.
Okay. Dusk.
Um. So I think in this, what Matt Reeves was kind of going with, I actually watched the IGN interview afterwards just to get a little bit more insight, and it's very interesting how he kind of went with it. This seems much more of a physical deformation. He was born with a really screwed up body and like this constant smile, and so in that it kind of turned him very sour, and so that it's almost like a laughter back is that he's had to really read people and really kind of get to know them, and he almost kind of gets a he gets to thrive on that aspect. He gets to
Yeah,
understand you, to get into your head,
it's
and
like
get to laugh
that
at
one
you.
line. It's like that one line. It's like when Batman is presenting the file with the evidence. It's like, you think I get off on this? Like, don't you?
Yeah, so kind of don't you? And he's like, yeah.
First anniversary is paper.
Yep.
Yeah, I pull up. I'm pulling up the picture now of the Lee Bermejo Joker. I could see that. Yeah, very much. What
He
you.
looks a lot. If you've ever played Bloodborne, he looks an awful like Ludwig the Holy Blade.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Like I saw a lot of people saying that with this kind of Barry Keoghan Joker, the look of him, that it's just like kind of looks like a dog with mange, a lot like that. I saw
Yeah.
that. A lot of people saying that
Mm-hmm.
also it's just like this kind of disgusting kind of looking creature. It's like it almost is doing too much work, like to try to make him
Mm.
look maniacal, make him look kind of sadistic because now he's fully disfigured and everything like that. So now you really kind
Yeah.
of see that because you see like you're seeing like his back of his head. It's like he's got like a scar back there. Let me pull up that in
Mm-hmm.
the clip right there. Like you
Yeah,
see the back of his
yeah,
head.
his hands are old. His face, it's like hideously burned into this permanent smile.
Yeah.
It it's an interesting way to go about it. I don't necessarily agree with this interpretation, but I think it's portrayed. The person who's portraying it portrays it well, and it's very much Joker in its infancy. He's not the
It's
Joker yet.
yeah, yeah. With me, I really like Barry Keoghan as an actor. I think he's a terrific actor in this like small scene. I think he's terrific. He has more screen presence and more menace than Jared Leto did in like his entire
He didn't
time as
even
the Joker.
try.
So it's interesting
Yeah,
because
but also I am really jokered out.
Yeah,
Batman, he has. We talked about this last week
yeah,
on
we
the
did.
stream with Marley and with Reese and with Jenna. He has such this large rogues gallery that I don't need to see Barry Keoghan's Joker be the main villain in like Batman 2, 3, or even 4. It's one of those things. Keep him in your back pocket for now and have him be like the villain in the last movie, whichever that one is.
End it with a bang. End it with him as the final guy,
Mhm.
as the clown prince of crime.
in this capacity and the way they used him, I do like it. In this capacity, the way they used him.
Mhm.
Mhm.
A lot of people were saying that with Bear Keoghan, that it's kind of like he's doing a Heath Ledger impression. Do you think he's doing a Heath Ledger impression with this?
Fuck no.
No,
Fuck no.
I would say he's not really doing Heath Ledger. He is sort of doing his own thing. You
He
can
is
see a
doing
lot more
his
chaos.
in the same way that that Matt Reeves is inspired by stuff like Seven, by Zodiac. I would say his take on Joker, it's more inspired by the Seven Deadly Sins killer, or by Hannibal Lecter in how Anthony Hopkins portrayed him. Because you in this small scene and just reviewing over Riddler's crime scene photos, he nails him personally. It's like he's a nobody who wants to be somebody. And it's like, so you think it's political? Oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah,
And
you know,
and this is a and I think the scene, it does feel like Gotham is a little more lived in, and we see that he's going to him because this is the first like freak that this take on Batman has brought in.
I also like
and
the.
and I think
Go ahead.
and I think Bruce's take on crime is very black and white, and he's legitimately going to this guy for his perspective.
I also like the balance. There's an interesting relationship that I like that they're doing with this, where he's playing constant games with people's head, and I like that. Even in that
Mm.
5 minute, he starts off as being kind of like friendly with them, almost kind of like a friend, and then he starts teaching Batman. He starts teaching in a way like, no, 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 this is what it is. This is where he's kind of going, and then he just starts fucking with him. Then he just starts like playing with him.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I think? You think they had it coming.
Exactly.
And you think, and that's a huge theme in the film itself. It's that the Riddler is basically just Batman after one bad day. He is Batman without an Alfred to guide him.
Yeah. So with this scene, I think Barry Keoghan. I mean, it's hard to really judge. This is a five
Yeah.
minute scene. I do like
Hmm.
kind of his accent per se because he's not doing his because Barry Keoghan himself. I mean, he is Irish. I
Yeah,
believe.
Yeah.
he's an Irishman.
Yeah.
He's doing an American accent for the joke.
Yeah. So with his kind of voice and tone, he does have a very kind of unique kind of voice in a way, even when he's doing his
Hmm.
American accent, which I think is adds something a little bit to the character. The
Hmm.
look of the character, like
And he and yeah, and Keegan, he's one of those actors. You just look at him and he lives somewhere.
yeah, I mean, he's kind of got little kind of beady eyes a little bit. I mean, not to say handsome guy, really, really, a handsome guy, but kind of does have that kind of
It's one of those things. His character in the Eternals is so opposite of what he looks like that him being the good guy in that movie is a shock.
yeah. Um, this scene, I didn't. It's just like I'm glad it was cut. Because not because it's a
Hmm.
terrible scene, but just because it explains everything in the movie. It basically is Joker laying out
Yeah,
everything in the movie.
it lays out what Riddler's motivation is long before. And I think if you had this scene that early in the film, because this probably would have been somewhere, I think, like middle of the second act after the police commissioner dies, then it would have distracted from the film.
Yeah, because he lays out every single point. It's like, okay, he's a nobody that wants to be somebody. This is personal for him. You and him are the same. He admires you. It's like, okay, this is
Mhm.
basically telling all the movie right here. It's just like, okay,
Mhm.
So I'm glad they did cut that scene. Dusk, what were kind of your thoughts on the scene?
And
On
also the movie's already like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
yeah.
The it was a good decision to cut it ultimately because
Hmm.
it takes away also from the Riddler's performance. It takes away a lot of the mystery,
Yes.
and while I wouldn't mind them reutilizing this concept for a sequel when the power vacuum is happening and he maybe goes to like, hey, you got any a little advice, that would be a fine enough time just to slip this kind of scene in. They could easily do it. He just slips in paper and just literally do the same thing except change some things up. They could easily put that in there, but for a first introduction, yeah, it's fine to just let Riddler be a solo game. It's a better pacing and it would have
Hmm.
interrupted the flow. Because when he comes there in Arkham, you want it to be a mano, still being a mystery. That final linchpin.
Hmm.
It also, for Batman, he eventually becomes the world's greatest detective. You know, having like that as a someone to back and forth with is fine, but maybe have that when he has a little bit more under his belt.
Hmm. But and also this is year two. This is
Sure.
a guy that is still very much figuring out the ropes of
Yeah.
detective work. He kind of has this very binary of what the motive is, what is the cause of this, and you get the sense that the Riddler is a kind of criminal that he hasn't really dealt with before, besides this take on Joker.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, thumbs up on Keoghan's Joker. Think it's good.
Yeah, yeah, I liked the take on it. I like the performance. The back and forth with Pattinson's Batman. I think it's really well executed. But at the same time, don't have him be the main villain in the next movie or even the next two.
Yeah. Let's build something. Keep building Gotham and other characters around it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think he's fine, but again, this is in a vacuum. It will be hard to press the scene until he really gets more scenes and more time to shine.
Yeah.
But from a simple introduction, I think he's doing something interesting. Whether just like the Riddler, if that was your preference for the Riddler, I think in this vision of Matt Reeves, they're going with more kind of sevens. These are serial killers who are also villains with a lot of the theatricality that I sorely miss from Batman kind of not being there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think of course you need to see more. There's only a 5 minute scene. See what he does. I think
Exactly.
Barry Keoghan's a great
Mhm.
actor. I've been meaning to check out Killing of the Sacred Deer. I've been meaning to check that movie out.
Oh man, that's a good movie. That's a
He's
good movie.
brilliant in that.
Yeah, everybody keeps talking about that, so I've been meaning to check that out. I hear great things about that. So I do think he is really good. The look of him, I say it's a very drastically different look than what we've seen in other Jokers. So I do
Mhm.
appreciate. And then even with the Jared Leto Joker, I think it was more trying to with David Ayer's style. It's more gangster, type Joker. I think that he was going for. Okay, that's his vision of what the Joker should be. This one is more like the whole born with a rictus grin and like someone who really does have this look of falling into acid and being horribly disfigured and that kind of chemicals and looking this way. So it's just a different kind of look on that. I do appreciate as well. Yeah, I would love to see. I'd love to kind of see more of this. I don't have to have him be the main Joker. I mean, the main villain of these next
Mhm.
movies. Like I said, Biggs Rogues Gallery can do a lot of stuff. If he's a person who's orchestrating a lot of things behind the scenes, maybe that'd be okay. But main
Mhm.
straight up villain,
Yeah, have him be
I'm sorry, you cut out there. What'd you say?
have yeah, have this take on Joker be the Battinson's endgame villain.
Hmm.
Have this be the last villain, main villain in the last movie that's being slowly set up over the course of however many these Reeves and Penn decide to come back on.
Yeah, let him be the build up. Let him slowly build his like persona and who he is until finally he's
Mhm.
unleashed.
Hmm.
Yeah, even introduce a couple of the Rock to this. It is the concept of a Jason Todd with this Joker to me, and I want to see that.
Yeah. 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 Very much do.